proud pleasure to welcome you to this annual dinner and awards ceremony organized by the Media Trust. We are greatly honored to have our chief guest, the acting president of the Republic, Mr. Maurice Info. We thank him for his presence. We are also honored by the presence of the Public Affairs Officer of the United Embassy, Mr. Nicolas van Mertens, Mr. Gong Yufan, Counselor at the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, and Mr. Gupta from the High Commission of India in Mauritius. Today's event is an annual feature in the activities of the Media Trust. It aims at promoting excellence in journalism and rewarding journalists who have excelled in their field in the course of the year 2019. I wish to thank all individuals and institutions who have helped in one way or another in making this event great and successful. I also wish to thank all the guests and invitees who have graced this occasion. I would like also to say how thankful and grateful we are to the chairperson and members constituting the jury, who have, I understand, done a wonderful piece of work in going through all entries and deciding on the merits of all in each category. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Media Trust was set up some 25 years ago. It has as its main objective the training and retraining of journalists through formal training programs, seminars, conferences, workshops. Our training programs are underpinned by a strong conviction that professional journalistic standards are essential to bring out the potential of media systems so as to foster democracy, dialogue, social and economic development. We understand that media have an important role in the development of knowledge societies. This role goes beyond reporting news and events. Media contribute to the freedom of expression and plurality of information. They engage and empower communities and underpin sustainable development and good governance. The free flow of ideas by word and image helps in social and economic development. The Media Trust favors and militates for the freedom of expression, freedom of the press, and holds firmly the stand that such freedom has to be governed by clearly defined ethics. In line with the objectives laid down by the Media Trust Act, we have, over the past year, provided training to a wide cross-section of media personnel. For instance, we had 2 training sessions intended for senior journalists, namely senior editors, what we call secrétaires de rédaction, and one for prospective traders. We also had one entitled Back to Basics in Journalism, an intensive program covering the essence of the entire journalist training curriculum. Our programs include both theory and practice. In addition, we had quite a few seminars, workshops on topics relevant to the profession. In spite of the very limited financial means, we have in the course of the past year helped in training or retraining of nearly 100 journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had in Mauritius a long history of the press. The first paper, you will recall, appeared on 13th January 1773. And the editor was Nicolas Lambert, in whose honor we organized the Nicolas Lambert competition to promote excellence in journalism. The competition is open to accredited journalists who are invited. They were invited last December to submit entries of their best articles of production, certified by the responsible editors. We are happy to say that we received more than 80 entries in the different categories, and the results will be announced in a while by the chairperson of the jury. I should like to remind you that the Prix Nicolas Lambert is an annual feature, and we invite all journalists to participate. Of course, some decide not to, but they are free. This is the freedom they enjoy. In this competition, I'll say we have only winners. The jury decide on who win the trophies, but those who do not win trophies or medals are equally winners in as much as they have made an effort to improve and professionalize journalism. I should perhaps also point out that the jury has worked the members of the jury have worked in a professional manner, and the results to be announced are known only to the jury. We don't know, I personally don't know who are the winners. We will come to learn at the same time as you will. And there has never been and there never will be any intervention on the part of any member of the Media Trust Board. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, nous sommes dans une période critique pour la presse traditionnelle. Vous savez qu'avec l'avancée technologique dans le domaine de la communication, c'est un vent nouveau qui souffle sur les médias. Aujourd'hui, nous avons un nombre croissant de titres de journaux ou de magazines, bien que le tirage ne soit pas très grand. À Maurice, nous comptons plusieurs chaînes de radio auxquelles nous sont venues s'ajouter 3 nouvelles chaînes l'année dernière. Nous nous réjouissons de l'arrivée de ces nouveaux dans les médias d'information. Mesdames et messieurs, face aux défis technologiques, nous allons offrir encore quelques programmes de formation dans les semaines et les mois qui viennent. Un programme qui concerne tant les journalistes de la presse écrite que parlée, vise à un français correct tant à l'écrit qu'à l'oral. Cette formation sera suivie par un programme à l'intention des journalistes multimédia pour qu'on arrive à maîtriser l'écrit, la photo, la vidéo, le son, le montage et les réseaux sociaux. Cela afin qu'ils soient prêts à exercer dans un journal et dans une rédaction numérique. Et pour boucler l'année financière en cours, nous envisageons le deuxième volet du programme à l'intention des formateurs, des journalistes. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude by appealing to all journalists to continue to collaborate and to help us to help them in this task of training. You may have the best of technologies at hand, but if the human resource, and in media, you need the technology, but you also need the qualified and trained professionals. But if the human resource is not up to the mark, you can't succeed. Allow me to offer my sincere congratulations to the winners and my wishes, my very best wishes to you all. Thank you.
The Prix Nicolas Lambert is dedicated to excellence in journalism and is a unique opportunity for Mauritian and Rhodesian journalists to be celebrated and recognized. New democracy is complete without access to transparent and reliable information. In fact, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights proclaims the right of every person to seek, receive and impart information and ideas through many medias and regardless of frontiers. However, that right remains impaired in far too many countries. A free and independent media is indispensable to a vibrant and functioning democracy. Despite some progress, journalists around the world continue to be persecuted, targeted with violence, or even killed, all too often with impunity. We are fortunate that in Mauritius, the media enjoys a long tradition of freedom and pluralism. Our local media reflects the plurality of ideas and interests of the varied social structure of the country and represent one of the active elements of lively democracy. The freedom they enjoy is clearly evidenced by the wide coverage and vigorous editorial comments on varied issues of public interest. There is no state control or censorship of the press, but it is subject to the general laws on publication, notification, the production of print, state petition, defamation, right of reply, etc. We must happy and be grateful that with their inevitable margin of subjectivity, the media preserves an indispensable place in our life. If they offer people a creative platform of expression, they also have the power of information, manipulation, and even propaganda to create the required general mood. Just like at the international level, local media have brought their share of sensationalism, whether during social crises or electoral campaigns. Malcolm X, American human rights activist, said, I quote, "The media, the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. And that's power because control the mind of masses." I quote. Respect for truth and public rights to information are fundamental principles of journalism. As journalists, you certainly have some codes of ethics to observe, since ethical journalism strives to ensure the free exchange of information that is accurate, fair, and thorough. You must commit yourself to honesty, fairness, independence, and respect for the rights of others. I do not quite agree with the French term contre-pouvoir used to describe the media, as it connotes the idea that the media should always be against, in other words, a thorn in the side of decision makers, instead of being constructive. I thus contend that the press should be able to inform as objectively as possible, to shed light on wrongdoings as well as laudable initiatives. The right for information and the freedom of expression are two fundamentals of democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, the media world is becoming more diverse and transformed by technology. Newspapers are fighting for a share of a shrinking market. We are moving towards a media landscape more and more digital, mobile, and social. With the development in modern technology, access to information is just at a click. Many are now already online, not the next day. However, such form of journalism, commonly known as citizen journalism, has become a threat to professional and traditional journalism. It has become an alternative and activist form of news gathering and reporting that functions outside mainstream media institutions. Despite its vast impact on our daily news, citizen journalism is not without its flaws. The biggest concern is the reliability of news, including fact-checking, the risk of incorrect information being disseminated. It has become a major source of fake news. While the internet has enabled the sharing of knowledge in ways that previous generations could only have dreamed, it has also provided ample proof of the line, often attributed to Winston Churchill, that a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its bounce on. To your journalists present, continue to be proud of your job. Do your best as true patriots of the nation. We need to realize that the next generation of people accessing news and information, whether from newspaper or any other source, have a different set of expectations about the kind of news they will get, including when and how they will get it, where they will get it from, and who they will get it for. Chers amis, amis de la presse, venant d'une famille qui a vu des journalistes et des collaborateurs journalistiques du côté paternel et du côté maternel, j'ai beaucoup d'amis qui sont dans la presse. J'ai beaucoup de respect et d'appréciation. Aussi, je vous adresse ma plus profonde admiration pour votre métier, qui demande d'être sur le pied d'alerte 24/7. En ce moment, des chercheurs sont en quête d'un remède contre le virus Covid-19. Des malades allongés, impuissants et souffrants, une population en état d'alerte ont besoin d'eux. Le monde a besoin de vous, chers amis. Le monde a besoin de réconfort. Le monde a besoin de messages d'espoir. Je compte sur vous pour être ce pilier, cette épaule optimiste que nous avons tant besoin. I shall conclude by congratulating the chairman and members of the Media Trust for organizing this award ceremony to celebrate excellence in the profession. My warmest congratulations to all the nominees, among whom shall emerge the laureates in each category and the winner of the Prix Nicolas Lambert. Bonne nuit, bravo au vainqueur, merci.
Je suis bien placée pour l'affirmer, vous faites un beau métier. Mais derrière ce côté glamour du journalisme qui est mis en valeur ces derniers temps, il y a des règles. Ces règles sont ce qui fait la différence entre un travail qui est bon et un travail qui ne l'est pas. Et c'est exactement de quoi il va s'agir ce soir. La récompense de ceux qui ont su respecter les règles de l'art. Nous avons récompensé ceux et celles qui ont pu et ont su donner du sens à l'information, qui ont pu la mettre en contexte, qui sont allés chercher l'information là où elle est, ceux et celles qui se sont posés les bonnes questions, qui ont eu les bons réflexes, qui ont compris les enjeux, ceux qui n'ont pas eu froid aux yeux, et aussi those that were fair and ethical. Car le fairness et le sens de l'éthique font aussi partie des règles du métier. Or, avec les réseaux sociaux, on en oublierait presque que ce métier a des règles et que la formation est une condition sine qua non pour un journalisme de qualité. Je sais que le président du Media Trust nous a parlé des projets de formation, c'est très important. Et justement, c'est ce qui fait la différence entre le journaliste et le citoyen lambda qui pullule tous les jours sur les réseaux sociaux. Et c'est pour cela qu'au nom des membres du jury, je fais un appel pressant au Media Trust et aux patrons de presse pour qu'ils investissent dans la formation des journalistes. Il est essentiel, non seulement que le journaliste sache faire son métier et qu'elle le fasse bien, mais aussi qu'il et qu'elle comprenne son rôle et sa responsabilité dans la vie du pays. Car paradoxalement, alors que nous sommes noyés par les news de toutes parts il n'a jamais été aussi difficile d'avoir la bonne information. Les critères qui nous ont guidés pour octroyer les prix ont été les mêmes qui ont fait que dans certaines catégories, il nous a été impossible de décerner un prix. Les membres du jury vous en diront un peu plus quand ils annonceront les gagnants. Je vous souhaite de passer une excellente soirée. Merci. 2 entries in the cartoon category and well, we were very impressed with Ethan.
Alors, mesdames et messieurs, chers amis de la presse, bonsoir. Alors, les 5 membres du jury ont décidé à l'unanimité de décerner le Media Trust Award 2019 pour la catégorie développement durable à Rick Yamen de la MBC.
We have a very bad news because all the members of the panel of jury decided not to award the prize for this competition regarding the charity leisure. Why we did not award it? Because the gender sensitive articles are meant to foster the gender quality. It was not the case. It was, as we say in French, it was un peu à côté de la plaque, dommage. But we hope that next year there will be at least a winner in this category. Je compare un peu les écrits qu'on a eu l'occasion de consulter à l'unanimité, qui étaient un peu comme du diamant brut, rough diamond, but it was not, c'était pas assez poli. It was not so crystal pure. That's was the problem. But I thank all the journalists. There was at least 10 entries. Perhaps next year there will be more and there will be prize.
Again, there was a little bit of a diversity of themes, and we noted, and it was quite interesting to note that 2 entrants were women, right? Because usually we say finance and economy is part of what we call the heartbeat news. And research has pointed out that heartbeat news is usually sort of male journalists sort of beat. So I think that's something that we found very interesting, that it has become something that female journalists are interested in. And I think it's very important in terms of stereotype breaking and sort of that finance and economy is an important aspect. The other element that we found is that economy and finance is so important for the understanding of the economy, because very often we have a tendency to say that the average readership or the average reader or audience is not interested in the hard facts. But I think it's tremendously important that we push the story so that everyone understands the importance, the relevance of telling a good story, and I always believe a compelling story about the economy and finance. So I think that's some of the silver lining to in terms of what the jury found. And I think here we need to sort of maybe, since we're talking a lot about training, about capacity building, I think there's a lot of investment that needs to be done around facts, the use of data. Statistics, how to interpret statistics, because that actually adds and enriches value to your story, and also gives that credibility factor. So I think we need to really engage and sort of spend the necessary money and the necessary capacity towards that, and maybe that's something that the Media Trust, with the help of other institutions that exist in Mauritius but also across the continent, can actually endeavor. So we have a winner. That's very interesting. So I'll probably call upon Deepak that we have not a winner, but we have a special mention. And the special mention goes to Nafisa Fakal.
Important, even if sports is not in the headline of the newspaper, because mostly it is politics and politics or economy or divers. But tonight we have a winner. This is a very good news, and there was 8 entries, and the winner winner, je parle de suspense, c'est Jean-Hugues Olivier.
Feuilleton de la presse 2019 goes to Anupuma Tatari, qui définit.
Il y a eu pas mal d'endroits pour la radio, le reportage audio. Le choix du jury s'est porté à l'unanimité sur Radio One. La gagnante pour la catégorie radio est Marie-Galina Santana Poncedo.
Il y avait 6 entrées pour le journalisme et l'investigation cette année. Je dois avouer que le jury n'a pas été convaincu malheureusement par la qualité des travaux soumis. Pour la plupart, les entrées s'apparentaient plus à des dossiers qu'à des enquêtes journalistiques. Le journalisme d'investigation sous-entend de lever le voile dans l'intérêt public sur ce qui est caché et non uniquement un ou des condensés de faits. S'il n'y aura pas de gagnant pour le prix Media Trust Transparency Research pour le journalisme d'investigation, nous voudrions quand même, au niveau du jury, à l'unanimité, mentionner le travail de Rizwan Keladox, pour son dossier, je dirais, sur l'utilisation abusive des pesticides. Et nous lui demanderons de persévérer d'aller plus loin dans la quête de la vérité. Si il n'y a pas un gagnant ou une gagnante, pour la presse écrite, il n'y avait que 3 endroits pour cette catégorie, ce qui est quand même dommage. Mais quand même, le jury a estimé qu'un dossier, quoique long, s'est démarqué des 2 autres. Il a été publié en novembre 2019 dans le journal de Dimanche Hebdo. Ce dossier a été rédigé par 3 journalistes et j'ai le plaisir de nommer Fabrice Turin, Jean des cracheurs de fumée qui tuent à petit feu.
Multimedia was the one category that had the largest numbers of entry, 26 entries. One of the most popular, as I said, but what was interesting to look at was in all sort of category, people just sort of felt that multimedia was a catch-all. So I think we need to also understand what multimedia brings to the conversation. What does it bring to the story? How does it enhance the story? How does graphics help to illustrate better the storytelling? Because I come back to storytelling. I come back to why a story compels the reader to read beyond the headline. So I think multimedia is an interesting element that has also created a lot of interest among journalists. So basically visuals, graphics, multimedia, the user experience. Now, to interesting, there's an award and there's a special mention. So I'll go for the award and then I'll talk about the special mention. So the award goes to Mervyn Vital from Top FM for his piece on culpabilité sur l'accident de route. Now, what really sort of created that interest among the jury was the usage of CCTV footage to tell the story. And through the very intuitive and very sort of creative use of CCTV, the story was told from a different perspective. So we salute you for that very creative method and methodology to tell the story. Now, as I mentioned, there's another special mention because the jury, as I said, there were 26 entries, very diverse in terms of category and storytelling. But we wanted to work also very impressed by the work of Jean-Luc Emile. Il était une fois l'esclavage. I think what really sort of got us was the story, the journey of slavery. Very traumatic moment, but Jean-Luc was very able to start from Dakar, l'île de Gorée, where la porte de non-retour, and bring it back to Mauritius. So the journey was extremely interesting, and it really sort of helped us to understand the cyclic journey of slavery.
Special. I'm not sure whether we knew straight away it was going to be the Nicolas Lambert, but we knew it was something special, and I think what made the difference was the choice of the subject. It wasn't an easy one. It was the angle. It was a very solid enquête avec des réponses très précises. Il n'y a pas d'allégation, there were facts. There were no approximation, and that's very solid journalism. And it covered all the bases, and it really, really informed le lecteur. Et puis, c'était un sujet courageux. Ça a donné un coup de pied dans la fourmilière. Et donc, the winner is, I know it's me, but I love it. It's Jean-Luc
Je dédie ce prix à tous mes collègues du défi média, au CEO, des Chapeaux d'Index, à Jenny Raoult et à toute l'équipe du défi sport.